Hey guys, question for today. Do you need to raise your rates or do you need to track your time better? For a lot of copywriters, there is that idea of wanting to make six figures, and absolutely possible, totally, completely possible. But of course, you have to be making a certain amount, you have to be working a certain amount. Now, here's the thing. If you are working 40 hours a week for, take maybe a couple of weeks off, but if you're working 40 hours a week, $50 an hour is enough to get you to six figures. But I think a lot of newer copywriters or copywriters who've been doing it for a couple of years, you don't want to start your rates too high, work at that $50 an hour and they find that they're not making the money. They feel like they're working full time, but they feel like they're not making the money commensurate with six figures or enough to get them to six figures in the year. And so they think, oh my gosh, I must need to raise my rates in order to get to the point where I can make six figures or I can get to whatever my goal is. But here's the thing. Again, if you're working full time and you are, even with a couple of weeks off a year, $50 an hour, I mean, obviously figure out, put it into your project rate and all that kind of stuff. $50 an hour is going to get you there. So the question is how are you actually using your time? Are you giving away a lot of time to your clients? Have you factored in the client support into your project rate? So for example, writing back an email to a client can feel like, oh, it's just quick, I'm just gonna, or it's a quick little 15-minute phone call with a client, and then but that stuff really starts to add up, which is why it's so important that when you are figuring out your project rate or when you are accommodating for retainer work, you need to make sure that you are factoring that into your time. Because if you're thinking, well, I'm doing a project and it's $50 an hour and okay, but if you're not factoring in all of that time you're spending to support your clients, then you're giving away your time to your clients. And it's going to be so much harder to hit your financial goals when you're just giving time away. Instead of automatically going to, well, I need to raise my rates, because we talked about this on lives and I think on a podcast, either one we have recorded or one that we have released. I can't remember. But check out the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. You don't want to just raise your rates willy-nilly. The time to raise your rates is not like, well, I feel like it. You should have, otherwise if you start just raising your rates whenever you feel like it, you are going to start engendering that imposter syndrome in yourself. A good reason to raise your rates is you have ascended to another level of skill, of expertise. That's a good time to raise your rates. Or also if clients are like, wow, I would have paid you so much more, that's crazy. Also a little hint, you might want to raise your rates. But a reason to raise your rates is not necessarily, but I'm not hitting the goals that I want to. Now, it is worth investigating, but before you automatically jump to, yes, I need to raise my rates, take a step back and actually do an inventory of your time. And yes, it can be a pain in the to write down what you're doing every 15 minutes. I get that. But you will really benefit from understanding where your time is going. And I think you'll be very surprised at how much time you're giving away to your clients without factoring it into your rates and without factoring into your projects. And this can be a good lesson for moving forward. You may say, well, geez, I figured out a project rate and I figured out this many hours for the project, this many hours for meetings, but I forgot to factor in the fact that this client likes to email me with ideas in the middle of the week. And now you're going to know for next time when that client wants to get in touch with you and just, run ideas by you or that kind of thing, because that's not free. They don't get access to your mind for free. Just because you're not literally sitting down and writing copy doesn't mean that they get access to you for free. So before If you're not hitting your financial goals, and always a good idea to have financial goals in mind, whatever they may be. It could be $1,000 months, it could be $10,000 months, it could be anywhere in between, or above or below. But before you automatically jump to, oh, the way that I need to hit my financial goals is to increase my rate, before you jump to that, do a time analysis. Really, it's kind of a pain. Do it for a couple of days and write down every 15 minutes how you are spending your time. Because first of all, you may figure out that you're not actually working full time, that there's a lot of screwing around going on and a lot of like, oh yeah, I'm working full time, but let me just catch up on this episode of whatever. Or yeah, I'm working full time, but I mean, I have to do my laundry and I have to, because if you were in an office, you wouldn't be able to go do laundry and count that as part of working full time, right? And which is not to say that you have to work full time. But if in your head you're thinking, well, I'm working full time and that's going to get me to my goals based on this math, then you have to be realistic and you have to really and truly understand how you're spending your time. Whether, again, you are other stuff is slipping in, or whether you're giving away time and expertise to your clients. So don't automatically jump to raising your rates. First, take a look at how you're really spending your time. And that's what I've got for you today.